Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. The Wall Street fails to hold on to its opening gains. The Nifty and the Sensex end 0.25% lower after a volatile session. The mid-cap index falls nearly 1%, underperforming the blue chips. It's a blockbuster debut for LG Electronics. The stock lists at a 50% premium, eclipses its South Korean parent's $10 billion market cap on day one itself. The management tells CNBC TV 18 premiumization and better margins are their key focus areas. China says it was ready to fight to end till the end amidst the renewed trade tensions with the United States and the tit-for-tat port fee. Beijing sanctions 5 U.S. subsidiaries of a South Korean shipbuilder. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent tells Financial Times that China wants to pull everyone else down, but tells Fox News that the Xi-Trump meeting later this month is still on track. Google to invest $15 billion over 5 years to set up an artificial intelligence data center in Andhra Pradesh's Visakhapatnam. This would be the tech giant's largest AI hub outside of the US. Union IT Minister Vaishnav urges Google to make reskilling a part of their AI investment. Infosys wins a £1.2 billion contract to modernize the payroll platform of England and Wales public healthcare system. Under the 15-year contract, Infosys will replace the existing electronic staff record with the next-generation payroll platform for 1.9 million employees. The Supreme Court notes that the title is not clean for all 88 Sahara properties that the Adani Group intends to buy. Several pleas in the Supreme Court claim ownership. EPFO issues notice to the Adani Group to clear Sahara Employee Provident Fund dues of 1,500 crore rupees as the proposed buyer. Tata Motors demerger scheme comes into effect and the shares of passenger vehicle segment lists at 400 rupees a share. The commercial vehicle, for which discovered price comes around 260 per share, will be listed in a month. Many families still await the return of bodies of deceased hostages, even as Trump declares the Gaza war is over. The Israel army says 4 hostages have been identified. The US president says he's yet to make up his mind on the two-state solution. Russian forces launch aerial bombs and drones against Ukraine's Kharkiv in an overnight attack, damaged the city's main hospital, injured civilians. Ukraine's President Zelenskyy says he will travel to the US this week to discuss potential supply of long-range weapons. Well, let's start with the day's market action. The Wall Street ending the day with cuts after a volatile session. The Nifty and the Sensex ended the day 0.25% in the red. Mid-caps fell nearly 1% today, underperforming the blue chips. 80 points lower, 297 points lower on the Sensex. The Nifty banked down by over 100 points and 430-point cut there on the Nifty mid-cap, so not being able to hold on to the morning gains. Inflation wholesale price index for September dipping to 0.13%. This was largely led by the softening of prices in food articles, fuel and manufacturing products. Meanwhile, trade tensions between US and China continue to intensify. China's Commerce Ministry has said the government is ready to fight to the end in a trade war with the US. This after US President Donald Trump said he would impose an additional 100% tariff on the world's second largest economy. In a post on X, China's Commerce Ministry spokesperson said, and I quote, "Threatening high tariffs is not the right way to deal with China. The US should correct its approach and act on the common understanding that the two presidents have reached in their phone calls," end of quote. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent criticized Beijing for imposing new export controls on rare earths last week. In an interview with Financial Times, Bessent said, and I quote, "This is a sign of how weak their economy is and how they want to pull everybody else down with them. If they want to slow down the global economy, they will hurt the most," end of quote. The Chinese government has also hit back at the Trump administration. The Commerce Ministry announced it is imposing sanctions on 5 US-based subsidiaries of South Korean shipping giant Hanwha Ocean. Now, the Chinese government has accused them of aiding Washington's restrictions on Chinese maritime, logistics and shipbuilding sectors. Eunice Yoon brings us the latest.
China is taking aim at U.S.'s efforts to revive its shipbuilding industry. Today, the Commerce Ministry sanctioned 5 U.S.-linked units of the South Korean shipbuilder Hanwha Ocean. The ministry said Hanwha's subsidiaries in the U.S. have assisted and supported the U.S. government's probes and measures against Chinese maritime, logistics, and shipbuilding sectors. China is strongly dissatisfied and resolutely opposes it. The ministry said said that companies and people here will no longer be able to work with Hanwha Ocean, which runs a shipyard here. China dominates the shipbuilding industry, but Korea and Japan are seen as countries that have more advanced shipbuilding technology. In fact, the Trump administration has said that the two U.S. allies were going to be very important to reviving the U.S.'s shipbuilding industry. The Chinese move also comes, though, as the same day as when both countries are now hitting each other with fresh port fees on each other's vessels. And it also comes as China launches an investigation, a counter investigation into Washington's Section 301 probe on Chinese shipping and shipbuilding industries. The Transport Ministry had said that they will be undertaking an investigation and looking into countries, companies, and organizations, as well as individuals that help the U.S. undertake discriminatory, restrictive behaviors against China's shipbuilding supply chain.
Unisoon, many thanks for joining us. A stellar the Wall Street debut for LG Electronics India. The stock listing at a 50% premium, eclipsing its South Korean parent's $10 billion market cap on one day. The stock closed 1% lower than its listing price. Remember, the 11,600 crore rupee issue received bids worth more than 4.4 lakh crore rupees, making it the most bid Indian IPO ever. Upasna's here with more details on the bumper listing. Upasna.
Well, certainly the most awaited IPO, that is LG Electronics, listed on exchanges today, and it was certainly a bumper listing. Now, the IPO listed at a 50% premium at 1,710 versus the issue price of 1,140 per share. The company raised nearly 3,475 crore from anchor investors, and it is a bumper in terms of subscription levels. It is the first Indian IPO to cross bids worth 4 lakh crores. Now, if we talk about the stock movement, the stock was down about 1.6% today at 1687 per share, making the valuation stand around 52 times its FY25 EPS. And the MCAP has also exceeded over 1 lakh crores. Now, if we compare the valuation with the other peers in the large appliances segment, it is somewhere in line with them. Havells, Voltas, Blue Star, the valuation of them stack up 1 year forward PE, that is around 45 to 40 times 1 year forward PE. Now, in terms of financial metrics of these companies versus the peers, mind you that the revenue growth of LG Electronics is lower than the peer average of 19%, but the company certainly outperforms in terms of its EBITDA margins, PAT margins, and also ROCE, which is at a record levels. Now, let us understand what the brokerages feel about this IPO. Now, Motilal Oswal expects the stock to trade at a higher multiple given the strong fundamentals and return ratios. Well, Nomura says that it expects a 10% revenue CAGR from FY25 to FY28, driven by multiple products, exports, and service initiatives taken by the company. Well, Ambit has also given a preferences in terms of line of companies, in terms of large appliances. It prefers LG Electronics the most, followed by Blue Star, followed by Whirlpool, and lastly followed by Voltas. In terms of target prices, Antique has given a target price of 1725, Motilal a target price of 1800, Nomura has given a target price of 1800 as well. Ambit has given a target price of 1820, but MK has given the highest target price, that is 2050 for the share. So overall, it's a good listing, and all consensus have given a buy rating on this one.
यह IPO LG के लिए सिर्फ एक वित्तीय उपलब्धि नहीं है, बल्कि यह एक नए भविष्य की शुरुआत है जिसे हम भारत के लोगों के साथ मिलकर बनाएंगे.
We are introducing a new lineup of products which will be targeted for the volume zone customers.
Right.
And we want to give them an experience for our premium products.
Right.
And on the other hand, we will also scale up our new businesses like B2B, information display panel, HVAC system, service business, and our third plant will also fuel the next level of growth in our business. That margin is a combination of many things. One is your growth in business. Second is the localization rate. Our current localization is 54%, and every year 2 to 3% it will improve.
Correct.
And the biggest strength which is contributing to our margins are major key components we manufacture in-house.
Well, that's the bumper listing there of LG India, and the man who stole hearts and the show was the LG India CEO. Holds speech there in Hindi. The demerger of Tata Motors passenger vehicle and commercial vehicle business took effect today. A special pre-open price discovery session valued the shares of the company's passenger vehicle business at 400 rupees a share, the stock closing 1.5% lower than the price. The commercial vehicle business is likely to be listed within a month at 260 rupees a share. Now, the automaker's board approved the demerger last year to streamline operations. Sudarshan is standing by with more. Sud.
Tata Motors demerger scheme has got effective today, and now on the screen the price you are seeing is of Tata Motors passenger vehicles. So for commercial vehicles it will be listed only after a month or say a month and a half, that is 30 to 45 days. Now what would be consisting of Tata Motors passenger vehicles? So JLR business, India passenger vehicle business, and the stake that company holds in Tata Technologies, that will be part of Tata Motors passenger vehicle business. In commercial vehicle business, both truck and bus business would be part of Tata Motors commercial vehicle. So what's the value that brokerages have put out? As per JP Morgan, passenger vehicle business total, JLR, India passenger vehicle business, and the company's stake in Tata Technologies, value as per JP Morgan is rupees 392 per share, and for CV business is 306 per share. As per Nomura, PV's value is rupees 365, and for CV it's rupees 367, and as per Nuvama, PV value is rupees 410, and CV it's rupees 280. So today Tata Motors passenger vehicle business lists at rupees 400 per share. Now if you derive the price for commercial vehicle business, it comes around rupees 260 per share.
All right, that's the Tata Motors demerger laid out for you. So many thanks. Tech giant Google would invest $15 billion over 5 years to set up an artificial intelligence data center in Andhra Pradesh's Visakhapatnam. This will be the tech giant's largest AI hub outside of the US. Ashmit standing by now with more. Ashmit, it's a big win for India and a big bet that Google's making.
Well, Google today making its big ticket announcement, announcing that its single largest investment here, its commitment here to the Indian market, $15 billion to be pumped in, beginning 2026 all the way down to 2030 over a 5-year period. To what purpose, to what end will this $15 billion be used? Well, Google is setting up its largest AI hub in India, the largest, in fact, outside of the United States. This will be set up in Vizag in the state of Andhra Pradesh. What we're also learning is that this will have a capacity of 1 gigawatts. The aspiration that Google has is that subject to demand, subject to takeoff, it is likely to be expanded even further. To make this big ticket announcement, in fact, in attendance were the likes of Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, was also here. The Minister of Rail, IT and INB, Ashwini Vaishnav, was also in attendance. The commitment that has come from the state of Andhra Pradesh is that they will pull out all stops to ensure that such a project goes through. And in fact, off the record, some of the senior government officials in attendance, they're telling us is that this is the first of many more such announcements to come, that there are many other companies outside of Google which are also looking at India for setting up their data centers and AI hubs. So the first of many for now, Google committing $15 billion for its largest AI hub outside of the United States in Vizag in Andhra Pradesh.
This AI hub will be a very important contribution to the AI mission goals in 3 different ways. First, skilling. We all know that AI is fundamentally changing the way the world moves today. Under such circumstances, there is a serious concern among a lot of IT professionals of what their jobs will be, where they would, how their lives will be impacted. So it's very important for all of us, especially the industry, to reskill and upskill our IT professionals in a major way.
Even Hyderabad, I brought Microsoft at that time. First time Microsoft has come to Hyderabad. Today, Google has come to Visakhapatnam. We are very happy. According to me, we are in an inspiring time.
Andhra Pradesh has been looking for different kind of investments, new investments, futuristic investments. So data processing, AI is one of them. So therefore Google coming is the initial step. Now, we have signed a lot of NDAs with other companies as well, but eventually, all the major companies that require this kind of AI computing power will land in Vizag.
Well, that's Google's big bet on India. Now, ChatGPT maker OpenAI has inked another deal, and this time with semiconductor giant Broadcom. Both companies will develop and deploy 10 gigawatts of custom AI chips and computing systems over the next 4 years. Rachna joins us now with more details. Rachna, take us through the OpenAI Broadcom deal.
Well, another day, another deal by OpenAI. But this one is a bit different, though. Now, OpenAI has entered a strategic partnership with Broadcom to co-design and produce proprietary artificial intelligence chips, marking its first major step into semiconductor development. This move is aimed at reducing OpenAI's dependence on GPU suppliers such as NVIDIA and AMD, giving it end-to-end control over the hardware powering its models and data centers. The timing, however, is striking. The Broadcom collaborations comes just weeks after OpenAI signed over $100 billion worth of long-term GPU supply agreements with NVIDIA and AMD. These deals secured next-generation processors like AMD's MI450 accelerator. Now, these accelerators fuel OpenAI's training and inference workloads through the decade. Under the new Broadcom deal, though, OpenAI will focus on chip architecture and design, while Broadcom will handle fabrication, deployment, and networking integration. Together, the companies plan to develop and deploy up to 10 gigawatts of custom AI accelerators beginning in late 2026. The deal value isn't disclosed, but in September, Broadcom had disclosed that it had a new client and an order of about $10 billion from them. Now, the street believes that it is a part of a broader order that OpenAI has placed, which is now estimated to be about $500 billion. Now, these chips will be used exclusively within OpenAI's own systems and are not intended for external sale. The partnership underscores a broader industry shift towards in-house silicon, which is similar to strategies that we've seen at Google, Amazon, and Meta, who are all racing to secure compute independence amid soaring AI infrastructure costs and global chip supply constraints. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman called custom accelerators critical to the next frontier of AI capability, describing this initiative as a cornerstone of OpenAI's path towards super intelligence level systems. Now, analysts say that this deal signals a new hybrid hardware strategy for OpenAI, securing near-term GPU capacity from the incumbents while simultaneously building long-term autonomy through proprietary chip design. With Broadcom packed, OpenAI effectively joins the ranks of full-stack AI companies, controlling their entire hardware-software pipeline, which is a move that could reshape both the economics and geopolitics of AI compute.
All right, Rachna, many thanks for joining us. Moving on to Infosys, shares of the company up in trade today after it announced that it has been awarded a contract worth £1.2 billion, which will span for 15 years. The contract has been issued by UK's NHS Business Services Authority to deliver a new workforce platform for England and Wales. Under the contract, Infosys will replace the existing electronic staff record with a next-generation payroll platform for 1.9 million employees. We'll head into a break, but coming up next, many families still await the return of bodies of deceased hostages, even as Trump declares the Gaza war is over. That and more when we get back. President Trump and the leaders of Egypt, Qatar and Turkey have signed a declaration in Egypt meant to cement a ceasefire in Gaza. President Trump called the day a tremendous moment for the Middle East. However, the president said he's yet to make up his mind on the two-state solution. This came hours after Israel and Hamas began the exchange of hostages and prisoners. Meanwhile, the Israel military has said it opened fire in northern Gaza after suspects approached its forces. This as President Trump reiterated again that the war in Gaza is over.
After years of suffering and bloodshed, the war in Gaza is over. Humanitarian aid is now pouring in, including hundreds of truckloads of food, medical equipment, and other supplies, much of it paid for by people in this room. A new and beautiful day is rising, and now the rebuilding begins. The rebuilding is maybe going to be the easiest part. I think we've done a lot of the hardest part, because the rest comes together. We all know how to rebuild, and we know how to build better than anybody in the world.
I would say that Pakistan had nominated President Donald Trump for Nobel Peace Prize for his outstanding, extraordinary contributions to first stop war between India and Pakistan, and then achieve ceasefire along with his very wonderful team.
Well, that's President Trump and Pakistan's Prime Minister. Now, the International Air Transport Association has said that persistent supply chain challenges could cost global airlines more than $11 billion in 2025. According to IATA's report, postponements in aircraft deliveries and engine repairs are forcing airlines to operate older, less fuel-efficient planes. Madiha standing by with more. Madiha, no let-up there as far as the supply challenges are concerned for the aviation sector?
Absolutely. $11 billion is a huge number. The airline industry is facing a perfect storm of rising costs and delayed aircraft deliveries, as you mentioned. There are about 17,000 aircraft pending to be delivered as of 2024. According to the International Air Transport Association, new aircraft deliveries continue to be delayed, forcing airlines to fly older and less fuel-efficient jets. And that alone means carriers will spend nearly $4.2 billion extra on just fuel in 2025. And add to that an aging global fleet, and the cost pressure is mounting. IATA estimates that another $3.1 billion will be required by airlines to go towards additional maintenance of older aircraft as they require more frequent and expensive checks. Engine issues are compounding the problem. Since engines are spending longer on the ground for repairs and maintenance, airlines are being forced to lease more spare engines, and that's adding about $2.6 billion to their bills. And it doesn't stop there. Aircraft lease rates themselves have jumped 20 to 30% since 2019, tightening margins even further for carriers already struggling with rising costs. So while passenger demand remains strong, supply chain constraints from delayed jets to engine shortages are shaping up to be a multi-billion-dollar headwind for the global airline industry in 2025.
All right. Many thanks, Madiha, for joining us. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. The news will continue right here on CNBC TV 18. Stay tuned. We're back in a moment with plenty more.